I'm Josh Trout from the Kinesiology department. I was part of Academy eLearning Part 2, and we redesigned Kinesiology 110, which was a physical fitness course for general education. My task today is to discuss reporting out and the benefits of it and what I found particularly useful. I thought that was actually a really good tool in the 3-week summer training that we used, and I'd like to tell you about the top 3 benefits that I think came from reporting out. The first was that it forced our team to synthesize the knowledge and the skills and the tools that we learned each week, and then figure out how those tools would fit into our redesign, and then determine what direction to go from there. So really just the synthesis of ideas on a weekly basis was super helpful. One of the things we found was that when we were responding to TLP's questions every week on the report out, we would answer those questions but then come up with more questions on our own. For example, we were discussing putting our narrated PowerPoints on Vista, and then we thought, well, if students are watching PowerPoints on Vista, maybe they could only meet once per week. And then if they're only meeting once per week, could we have a higher enrollment? And then could we hire interns to help facilitate discussion during class? So really when we were answering TLP's questions, we were coming up with more on our own. And I think that was largely because of the report outs. We had to synthesize our ideas. And sure, we had good brainstorming sessions and learned a lot in class, but really the synthesis of our ideas and our brainstorming sessions each week for report out really sort of brought it all together. The second benefit I can see for reporting out was that because it was going to be recorded, it held us accountable to really make a quality presentation. We actually rehearsed the things that we were going to say and what our main points would be. We knew that anybody could watch these archived videos. It might be another cohort of Academy, it might be Provost Flake, anybody could watch these. So because we were going to be held accountable, it seemed like it took it up a notch for us and really made us concentrate on what we wanted to say and synthesize our ideas. The third benefit is that it really was a great summary to each week. Reporting out was the last thing we would do after a long week of learning lots of new content and ideas and gaining skills and learning new web tools and so forth. So once we synthesized it all for the report out, then we had a couple of days on the weekend to just let these ideas marinate, so we would kind of have a framework built up for the next week when we would learn new tools that we could build on our framework that we sort of polished for the report out. The way it works in my head is during the week we get all these ideas, like here's an idea we could use, here's a concept, here's a tool, here's a web application. All these ideas are kind of floating around, and at the end of each week we sort of take them all together and then we package it in kind of a tight little package, and then for the next week we can sort of build on that package, and the report out really forced us to kind of package those ideas each week. So those are the main benefits I noticed from the reporting out. As far as archiving it, something that I found pretty helpful was actually about a year after I did the summer training for Academy, I gave a presentation at our state conference about the process that Chico State is going through for the Academy eLearning. And so I actually showed the audience members some of what the report outs look like, so that was helpful. But also as I was looking at my own report outs about a year after I made them, I noticed that most of the ideas that we had packaged together for each report out actually materialized in the pilot and then in the fully redesigned launch. I remember talking about things like Vista pop-up windows, exercise journals posted on Vista blogs, text captions for narrated PowerPoints, things like this. We were just kind of ideas and reporting out actually ended up materializing. So it seemed that those report outs were pretty accurate, and it was just a really good way to tidy up the week. In closing, one of the thoughts I'd like to share with future cohorts is I wish that I had watched other teams deliver their report outs, because like when we delivered ours for kinesiology, I felt like we had just some moments of brilliance. We had just some awesome concepts, and we were going to combine that tool with this idea and use it with these students, and we just had these wonderful ideas. And I know we're not alone. I'm sure every team had their moments of brilliance as well, and I think it would have been beneficial had I had my team all watched these other report outs. Because it wasn't required, we didn't do it, so I almost wonder if requiring it would be a good idea. But if it's not required, I would still encourage future cohorts to watch each other report out, because I think we would gain lots of great ideas from each other. So those are just my thoughts on reporting out. I hope it goes well, and best of luck to everyone.